Hey guys, what's up? Eddie Aho here with KissAnalog.com. Today we have Kaiweets in the lab. We actually have two of them. This is what they call their professional series, and they're not bad priced. We got the A version, that's an AC only for current, and this is a D. This is a AC and DC clamp on. Other than that, I think they're about the same meter. So we're going to open them up. You know, look inside, look under the hood, see what they got going on. Now, one thing I want to mention is you won't see HRC fuses. Why? Because the current goes to the clamp. Much safer than putting it through a meter, hoping you got the right fuse, hoping the layout's right, that you have the right shunt, all that stuff. All that stuff goes away with this kind of meter. You just clamp on. You just reach in, clamp. So, yeah, I like them. Let me say this. I was just trying to think for a moment. Have I ever used a multimeter to read AC power coming off a wall? I can't. If I have, I can't remember when I did. I always reach for one of these clamp-ons. I got to tell you, I think I've got 3 flukes here right now. I think I've sold or got rid of one of them, but I got 3 fluke clamp-ons. I've got the Redfish that I just reviewed not too long ago. Right now that's a favorite because it does power. Now these, they do a lot of stuff, and we're going to talk about this, okay? And the price is much better than Redfish, and that's why I thought I'd do this video. Actually, Kaiweets reached out and asked if I wanted to review these. I said, you bet. And just like they have in the past, whenever they've given me meters, which they gave me these, they just send them to me, and you know, that's it. There's no request for, you know, mention this or mention that, or can we see the video before you know, because that won't work for me anyway. But yeah, they're just great. Kaiweets has been awesome. You know, with these power supplies up here, some other multimeters I reviewed. So I'm really anxious to jump in this. So let's come over here and jump in. Alright guys, one note about safety before we go any further. Talking about meters are probably good for electricians, certainly around the home. These are category 3, which is at your panel, that kind of thing. Category 4, more scary stuff outside your building. Now, they're category 4, 600 volt, category 3, 1000 volt at the jaws, I believe. Down here, the voltage, they're category 3. Okay, so you have 2 different ways to take measurements with this, and they have 2 different levels of safety on each one. Now, personally, I like to stay away from category 4 stuff. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. They're not third-party tested, but they do have the CE mark. And it is Kaiweets. And I mean, I think they're a reputable brand, but that's one of those things you have to decide for yourself. So, just want to throw that little note out there, and let's jump into this video. Okay, the boxes are the same. They look identical except for the part numbers. So, professional, precision, safe, and durable. They have the IEC 61010. That's the multimeter standard. They say they're CE. So, if you trust Kaiweets. But yeah, I like the red and black color schemes. And I said the boxes were identical. They're almost identical. Part numbers, and also this one shows a red. I wonder if that's the way it really is. And here's a white. And this one has AC and DC, and this one's AC only. So the A is AC only, D has the DC as well. And because it has that, it has a 0 function. So let's go ahead and open up the D, since they're going to look the same. Alright, I opened up both, as you can see. Now the thing is first of all, when I open a box, it's really cool that they come with this nice case. It's one of those kind of soft, rigid, kind of, if you know what I mean. You know, it's kind of stiff, but you know, so it's pretty protective. It's nice and formed. Alright, so let's just pull out the units. Alright, so as you can see, it comes with a Type K thermocouple. That's nice. And some test seats. I'm going to open those up and take feel, but I can feel right now these are pretty soft. Man, I'm not sure those are made from, actually. I don't. Well, that's going to surprise me if they're silicone. But man, they are, they may be, because they are super soft. But yeah, it has a dark display. I can, see that now. The wheel, these things are, oh, here we go. Here's a hold and flashlight on the side. So we got that flashlight up here on the top so you can see when you're trying to reach in and grab some wires. It's got a nice feel. You can see the size of it. You got your lead retention guys back here. And I like the bottom inserts. Now, they don't show red and black. That's one thing, so you have to pay attention. Common input. Yeah, it's too bad they didn't make that a black, right? They're probably trying to keep costs down, but they do have the black plastic up here. And they've got the two color on the wheels, so, yeah, that would have been the one thing I would have said would have been nice if they just put a black down here. Okay, guys, just want to show you this 3-year warranty. That's pretty awesome, I think. The YouTube thing here, if you scan that into your phone, you'll come up with the Kaiweets YouTube page. And I just want to show you the specs. First, manual has 23 pages, and it looks like they're well written. I think they've had a lot of practice at this. So specifications here. Here's the accuracy, which I think you'll find that impressive, 0.5%. Notice all the ranges. If you notice, some multimeters only have a few ranges. When you have 4 or 5 ranges, that's really nice, I think. Here's the VFD and the inrush specs. That the filter and the inrush current. Now, the other thing I want to point out, well, 60 megohms, lots of ranges, but look at this, 10 nanofarad, and here's the resolution. So that's like 1 picofarad, it looks like. So 100 millifarad is the max. That's a big capacitor. So again, nice, impressive specs, I believe. One thing to highlight in the specification is the R6000 count true RMS and updates approximately 3 Hertz. So 3 times a second is pretty darn good. All right. As I was taking the tie off the leads, I mean, look how they just flop out. I mean, those have to be silicone. I don't see any print on the leads, but they are so soft that definitely feels like they're silicone. And that is a nice touch. Sharp tips, of course. I mean, pretty much all leads come. Now, these don't snap on tight at all. They're actually pretty loose. So those are really loose. Yeah, that's not good. They're too loose. A lot of people don't use them, but if you do want to use them, these are really loose on these guys. Alright, these are actually the nice ones with the little protective cup inside the lead, so that's a nice touch. So yeah, nice leads other than the the cap 4 caps don't want to stay on. But yeah, otherwise very nice. Okay, so the texture's nice. This kind of there's some softness to it, and then this is hard plastic here, but this is kind of a soft texture. Has the thing for your magnetic strap if you have one of those, and I removed the screw. Has a little thing where you get your finger in there, which is nice. Sometimes some meters have left that off. You don't see a circuit board. That's nice. There's isolation, so right here you have the little indents where the batteries are going to be captured in here. So yeah, obviously the batteries aren't going to move around, and it is an insert for the screw. So yeah, you do have a metal insert, and it does say it conforms to the standard right there. Okay, there's 2 screws, one here and one underneath the QC sticker. So that's nice, because if somebody's taken this apart, reviewed it on a video, and returned it to Amazon, you'll know. Alright, as I take this off, that looks pretty darn clean, doesn't it? Now, the first thing I like to look at is see how this wall right here, and then soft rubber around the edges. So, and there's all these features here to kind of separate things. But one thing about a clamp-on meter, you don't need the big HRC fuses, because you're using this, which is even safer, much safer. Now the buzzer's put up here out of the way. That's a nice touch. You got ribbon cable, little jumper wire here that goes up inside there. That's probably for the flashlight. And there's a little spring for the other spring for your battery terminals. And we got a crystal, a capacitor, and our PTCs with our, it's a through-hole resistor, which is even bigger than a MILF, right? And then you got some big MILFs and some smaller MILFs. All right, just let you take a nice look at the board. Okay, this is the HT208D, AC and DC. All right, let's take a look at the DC. You can see the big difference right here. You don't have the ribbon cable, but you do have the large capacitor installed. And look, there's a bunch of components that are not installed for the AC only. It's almost like they tried to hide that chip number right there. And if you notice, the terminals are nice soldered to the board right there. So a couple screws on the board, lots of screws on the board actually. Okay, so let's get some batteries in these and get them put back together. All right guys, we have power on both meters. Let's go ahead and turn them both on. Wow, we have a dual color display. That's really neat. Now this one defaults to AC because that's all it has. Doesn't have DC. This one does, but it also gives you temperature. I think that's cool they use the display like that. Okay, let's hit function. Now we're same place as this one. Hit functions again, VFD. So now we have the filter. And hit it again. Now we have inrush and Hertz. Neat. I like the two color plus the two, the Hertz and the inrush reading at the same time. That's pretty cool. And then again, now we're back to AC and DC on this one with temperature. Okay, now we're at 600 amp, and it's going to be the same thing. Temperature, DC, push it again. Now we're back with this one. The filter again, inrush again, but now we also have a range, 60 or 600. So let's hit the range. Whoops. Okay, so let's go back to where we began, and then let's try the range. Okay, remove the decimal point around. Okay, then I think we just hold it down again and we'll go back to auto. Okay, so let's go to voltage. Same thing. Now both meters, they're the same. They both have AC and DC, so they default to DC. Then hit function. We have AC. And of course we can go through all the ranges. Decimal point moves all around, so yeah. You can do all that. Okay, auto. Let's go to Hertz and duty cycle. So we have duty cycle on top and yeah, and Hertz down here on the bottom. Okay. Then, okay, now we're at continuity. Now this one is for ohms, starts off ohms, and we got temperature. That's, again, I like that fact that it does that. Okay, that is continuity. We got the little thing up here denoting that it's going to make a sound. Okay, there's diode. So, okay. And then capacitance. And then we're back to resistance. Okay, so let's go to temperature. And look, we have both Celsius and Fahrenheit. And we've been seeing this all through those other ranges, right? It rounds it off because it only has two, it doesn't give the decimal point up here. Okay. I wonder if this does anything. Nope. Okay. I was wondering if it switched them. Oh, it does give max min, so you can do that still. And it does relative, zeroes it out. So that's pretty cool. Well, actually, it puts this at 0C, but it puts it at freezing and at 32. So that's interesting. Wow. Oh, now one thing, you notice this has 0. because when we're up here in the AC function up here, you see on DC we're going to read some current, so you want to zero it out. So 0, yeah. Okay, there we go. So let's go to voltage. Now again, we're at DC or AC voltage, but the difference between this setting and that one is this one has a filter and this one has a low Z. And again, we're getting temperature up here. So here, I'm wondering what happens. Okay, there's AC. Whoops. There's AC. Oh look, we get VFD too. Wow, we VFD and low Z. Wow, that's interesting. So, oh, that's okay. So that's really interesting because that's, wow. So you get low Z and the option of filter here. Where up here you just have the option of filter. But down here is your low Z for your phantom voltage or your ghost voltage. And then down here the last thing is non-contact voltage. And they show it U for volts. And again, temperature. Okay, I think we hit the function to go to live. That's when you have one probe in and you can touch it to be certain if there's voltage or not. So, all right, we're going to go test all this stuff. All right, again, common, black, and these are stiff. They go in nice and tight. Okay, we're ready to do some testing. I've got my power supply here putting out some voltage to this motor, and I can control it with this, and we're going to monitor some current and look at some voltage. All right, the other thing is on those other leads, when I took off, oh man, those are sharp. These are really sharp, guys. These things snap on. The ones on the other leads did not, but they are silicone. They're very nice. But yeah, those are also very sharp. Okay guys, I have a setup. I have a power supply here powering up this little DC motor, and I got a volume control or speed control and an on-off button. I'm going to hit the on-off button and let's capture an inrush current. Okay, so this guy's set. Let's get this guy over to inrush. There we go. Alright, so I have this, and it's on the 60 to 600 amp scale. Alright, so that's one. Let's try to capture another one. Wow, that was cool. Okay, so what you can see is that it's going to, if there's another inrush current higher, it's going to replace that, but then it stores it automatically. That's really cool. Now, one thing I want to show you is inrush. It could be a pulse, and it's going to monitor for about 100 milliseconds and capture that highest signal within that range. Okay? Okay, we're back to AC on both meters. Let's just monitor some AC current. You can see how you get a little bit different reading depending on where you place that wire in there, but you know, but really it's not that far off, even, you know, no matter where you place it. I guess it's pretty close. Okay, now I've got this meter set for the DC, but you know what, with DC what you need to do is make sure you zero out the meter. Okay, it says 0. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and read, okay, I'm zeroing this out because I'm on DC. This is a DC motor, so we're going to look at the DC current here. This guy's still in the AC current coming into the power supply. Alright, so there we go. There's our AC current coming into the power supply, and that's the DC current going off to the motor. One thing I want to point out is even on a DC motor, even though we got DC current, when you first power up, it looks like AC. It's an inrush current, right? So I got inrush on both. So yeah, so even though we're normally getting DC continuous, during a startup it's going to look like an AC or an inrush. So you can still do inrush on a DC motor. Alright, so if we want to watch the DC voltage going into the power supply, let's take a look at that. Takes a little while for the motor to spin up. It's loading down the power supply. Now if I'm just varying it, you can see it kind of moving around. See the bar graph? It's a nice bar graph too. Here, let's try this other meter. So you can just watch that. Oh, let's get DC. All right. All right, let's just check ohms on this guy. You can see how fast it changes. 1 meg. It goes from, you know, touch. Well, here, let me touch leads. Okay, and then to 1 meg. So seems like it changes pretty darn quick. I think these meters are going to be exactly the same. Yeah, pretty fast. Okay, let's do a little continuity. It's got a good sound to it. It's got the little light here if I hold it. This first starts off red if it's not continuous, and then so it tells you how solid of a connection I guess it is. Okay, I'm sure they're, again, exactly the same. Actually, that sounds a little louder. I wonder if it's just the way this one's sitting. Yeah, you know, the buzzer does sound louder on this other one. All right, let's check some diodes. First of all, listen to this. It does make a chirp. I like that. Light's a white LED. Shows 2.6. Red 1.8. Green 2.2. And blue 2.5. So, yeah, that's nice. You know what? This one's still here. Let's go to volts here. And let's go to DC. Okay, so let's just measure the volts on this guy. Wow, look at that, almost 3.3 volts. So that's definitely going to light up a lot of LEDs. Okay, let's just try the other way around. All right, let's do that. Yeah, both the same. I guess we can just verify that. All right. White, red, green, and blue. So, yeah, lights them all up. Okay, let's try the capacitor. All right, guys, now we're in capacitance mode. Let's just test these capacitors. That's a 1 nano. Checking that meter right there. And 2 nano, I think this is 10 nano. 1 mic. Okay, and this guy should be 1,000. Okay, there we go, 1 millifarad. Then I have this big capacitor bank. I think usually reads around 20 something millifarads. Let's make sure I get the leads on right. So negative on this side. It's supposed to go to 100 millifarads. Wow, 26. Yeah, I think it usually reads right around there. I got to remember that. Right around here. Let's try the other meter. All right, so now let's try this guy. Now that I've got in capacitor mode. All right, pretty cool. Okay, let's try this meter here on the smaller cap. 1 millifarad, and we'll go backwards. It should be a microfarad. 10 nano, 2. Wow, I'm slipping off the cap. And 1. Okay, looks good. Try some in-circuit diode testing. Back to diode testing over here. Whoops. Okay, I think that was yep, there we go. Hioki diodes, 0.287. When I go the other way, it just reads through 2 diodes. So, yep, there we go. Yeah, Hioki diodes. And what's this guy? Wow, that's nice Hioki too. We'll just check both meters just to verify. Yep, looks like about the same voltage too, right? Looking good. All right, so okay, so in capacitor mode. All right, guys, in temperature mode, we get Fahrenheit and Celsius. That's pretty cool. I don't know if you can change the display. It doesn't seem to be. Oh, it does give max, min. So to record max, min values, it looks like. It'll do relative, and look at that. It changes to 0 degrees to 32 Fahrenheit. That's cool. And meanwhile, it just gives you room temperature inside the meter. That's pretty neat. Let's go ahead and put a thermocouple. All right, got thermocouples on both. I've got my soldering iron out. Let's just see how hot that's getting. Looks like it's getting pretty hot. So, yep, pretty hot. All right, guys, 6,000 count meters, right? DC readings. Now remember, with the tolerance and the last decimal place, I mean, these guys are within their range. So if I take this up just a little bit higher, you're going to see it lose decimal place on both meters. Goes over to 6.1. Yeah, 6.2 it looks like it switches over. So you get a little bit past the 6,000 count before it flips down, you lose the decimal spot. Okay, for non-contact voltage, remove your leads, okay, and set it to NCU, which is NCV, same for volts. Okay, let's put my AC power cord here close to this meter. Okay, I get red for H for high. I see the bar graph too. You get these dashed lines plus the bar graph is actually given something. The buzzer's not as loud as this one. Okay, and you get a low for, so you get either green or red. When it's further away, you get an L, and then an H. This guy over here, you know, he doesn't seem to be as sensitive. Okay, so now what we do is we're gonna go to live. Okay, so we push that to live, and then we put our red lead in. Remember, when you put these leads in, push them all the way up because they're pretty stiff. Make sure they're all the way on. Okay, so let's try that again. Okay, that's the neutral line, so okay, we're not getting anything. Okay, the hot, we're getting an L, but you know what? I would have thought it would have been a red, but and a H, but that's interesting. Okay, it's louder, you're getting a green, but you still get an L. And this one, nothing. So the neutral, nothing. But I do like the live because it's a little bit more sure of a test than the non-contact, but having both is nice. Alright, I turned up my AC supply a little bit higher. Now I get the H. So yeah, if you're not fully up to 120, you get the L. But now I'm getting the H on both. Let's go back to the non-contact. Remove these. Okay. Yeah, okay, so I didn't have my AC supply quite high enough to get as good a reading, I guess. We're starting off some frequency testing. We're set down at 1 Hertz, so that's pretty darn good. 50% duty cycle. We're going to try 10 meg. They're supposed to go to 10 meg. Wow. I'm going to try 11 meg just to see. Wow. Holy cow, I'm going to try 20 meg. Okay, that's crazy. I thought 10 meg was the highest. I'm going to go 60 meg. That's as high as I can go. Yikes. Alright. Maybe I read something wrong. I thought it was 10 meg. That's way faster than I need to go. Okay, I'm going to go square wave. That's a sine wave. Jeez. That's out of range for my generator. It goes to 20 meg. So 20 meg square wave, no problem. Okay, let's try messing with the duty cycle. I'll change it to 10%. Oh, my generator went to 44%. It didn't like that high frequency. Okay, I'm going to drop down to 1 megahertz. You know what? I'm just going to go 100 kilohertz. Okay, let's try that duty cycle again. I'll try 10. It's at 44 right now, which you can see. 10%. Cool. Let's do 90%. Well, I'll do 95%. What the heck? I have a setting for that. Wow. Pretty cool. Alright guys, there's a couple things I forgot to show you. One, on the side here, you have these buttons, right? You hold them down, turn on the flashlight. And the flashlight stays on until you turn them off, okay? Pretty nice little flashlight. They're pointing at the jaws so you can see the wires when you reach in and grab them. I think that's what they're for. The other thing I forgot to point out was that there's a hold button here. So I can hold it down for a couple seconds, turns off the lights, and then you can hold this. So when you're reaching in a panel or something you can't quite see, when you grab your meter, you can hit that button and just capture the reading. Pretty nice. They stay powered on for about 15 minutes, give you 3 beeps. Hit any button to turn it back on. If you want to override that feature, you hold the range button down and turn them on, and that'll turn it off. Okay? There you go. Pretty cool meters. Got the leads captured. Silicone leads, can't beat that. Just awesome. And by the way, the case, nice case. Has a little strap. If you don't like that, you can zip it up inside. But yeah, they're kind of kind of rigid. I call them soft rigid, but nice clamshell case with the pocket and the strap to hold the meter in. So yeah, I like it. Alright guys, thanks. Here's the board. Hey, I've been trying to speed up the video. I hope you kind of noticed that. Was it too fast? It was about right. Now here's the A model, AC, and the D model, AC plus DC. I saw some sale prices today. right around 64 bucks when you add the coupon. And the coupon's right there. You just check the box on Amazon, and 50 bucks, right around 50 bucks with the coupon for the A. Now, you know, you could see different prices because I saw about $10 more than this just the other day. But today when I checked, yeah, maybe I looked harder, I don't know. Anyway, all this stuff in the red is common between both meters. They're mostly the same meter, except for, I did notice the buzzer on this one wasn't as loud as this. You know, when I opened them up, I didn't notice that the buzzer is just different. Maybe when we watch the video, we can look for that. But they're auto ranging, but the cool thing is they also have a manual range option. Not all auto ranging meters have that. And the thing about this, when you look at the, go look at the manual on these, there's a lot of ranges, so that's really nice too. It's not like just 2 ranges in the volts or something like that. So anyway, lots of ranges, lots of stuff on this thing. 6,000 counts, DC accuracy is 0.5% plus 5 digits, AC 0.8, 5 digits. That's pretty good. That's about what I see standard, you know, on 6,000 count meters. AC RMS. Now these clamp-ons are not as accurate because it's a clamp-on, so it's 2.5%. Usually that's good enough. For the safety factor, I think it's worth it. I like the safety factor of the clamping on the wire versus breaking the circuit and trying to put, you know, especially if you're in category 3 type areas, right? So 60 mega ohms, 100 millifarads. I mean, it can measure some big caps. And 10 megahertz oscillator, we saw it goes even higher than that, like quite a bit higher. But it also has duty cycle, DC I put for duty cycle. Temperature gives you in Fahrenheit and Celsius at the same time. It's a nice display, it gives a lot of information. Now these are some of the cool features that I think electricians, HVAC guys would like. Inrush current, that's really cool. The VFD, that's the filter. For VFD is variable frequency drives. But really, if you're around inverters, anything with noisy AC power, that's going to help filter that. The low Z for the ghost or phantom voltage. And then you got the non-contact and the live. So that's really nice. And the diode, I was impressed. It went up to about roughly 3.3 volts, 3.2, something like that. So lots of features built into this thing. And test leads. Silicone. That's awesome. I mean, you know, to throw silicone test leads in, and they're nice and long ones too. You can see that they're, I don't know, that's 5 feet long maybe, but yeah, I mean, wow. Why not? I mean, that's just really cool that these meters that they throw those in there. So yeah, I think 2 thumbs up. Thumbs up for each meter, or 2 thumbs up for each meter. Thumbs up for the video. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hey, we'll see you next time.